It was a bomb buckler. You know, no? Yeah, we take all this bomb buckler for repair. You need a trouble, you know? Yeah, trouble there, you go on. No. Not a blood clot.
So Vybz Kartel posted a video on his Instagram page, right? And it wasn't the first video. He basically doubled down, right? And people are saying, or people are questioning, where is Vybz Kartel mental capacity right now? Like mentally, where is he standing, right? Because why would a 50-something-year-old, I think he's 50 something, 51, 52. But people are saying he's in his 50s, right? Why is Vybz Kartel doing this? There's no need for this right now, especially gyrating. And then you have other people, other influencers. That's not, it's just not like a regular fan. I enjoy that. Like when a regular fan or somebody that read the artist, you know, and who knows, maybe they just do it as a skit to get, you know, because they artists do it, right? So that tells a lot about the influential part of the artist. Like if he's willing to do this, right, because he's so influential, how is that not a problem now when he do certain things, right? And people are questioning, you know, his actions. That's where it seems funny to me, even though it's very serious, very serious. Because why would Cartel do this at this age? Why would you want to step out, right, and put out a video like this? The fans, them, you know, they were saying, oh, this Lou, you know, we need to rate this, right, or 3 rated, whatever. Like they're going to change numbers or words. I don't know if these people think they math. Anyway, right? Like they that smart. They know it all. Now I don't know it all because I'm always asking questions. And when certain things, you know, peek or poke out, you know, and kind of like stand out to me, I always ask questions. Because why? You know? How? Where? When? Why? If you start asking the 6 W's, I think it's 6 or 7 W's, right? You would try to get to the truth or the source, the facts, the, you know, just like we see they pushing this AI thing on us, right? Because people want to know the truth, right? Very simple. It's not that difficult. Whatever, you could lie, you could be deceitful, you could, you know, because no one is in control of you. And they told us that there's a higher power and you have to surrender to that higher power. But the higher power is a male. It's not a female, or it's not a male and female. They say him or I or Father God, whatever. But when it comes to women, right, I don't see that same energy. And the last time I checked, I came from a woman, right? So women can be very, you know, seductive, you know, selective, sensationalize, you know, I'm trying to, when it comes to women or women, right, it's kind of like, okay, we know from science and genetics that you have to procreate with a woman to birth or to have kids on this planet. right? The seed, the whether it's a slave thing, who's in control, whatever, whatever. But the machine have to keep grinding. The machine have to keep rolling. Because if things slow up, it's gonna be a problem because everything is a process, right? Everything is happening in real life, and one thing we have to appreciate the moment that we living in right now. Think about this. We here, you could be rich, you in this realm of existence, right? Because we don't know the I don't know when I passed away what is going to happen, or if I was to be talking to you, or whatever the case may be. We all have to what they say, we all have to transition, we all have to die, right? So transition, like I said, to that, you know that different or another level of existence, because matter cannot be created or destroyed. That's what they taught us, right? So it's just going to change form, right? Whether it's in a physical form, a solid or physical solid, right? Or a liquid form like water, right? Or if it's going to be in a form of gas, right? Oxygen and hydrogen, right? What they say, we breathe in and we breathe out, right? um Different stages. No, on this planet we only have three stages, right? Physical, liquid, and gas. Physical is solid, meaning you can touch it, it's tangible, right? um you can question it because it's a narrative, you know it that's why we have all of the different technology and whatever, right? Gas is the air you breathe. So without the water on this planet, right? Because I see people say trees, you know, make you breathe on this planet. But without water, right, the trees won't grow because the trees need water to grow. One of the main, not just the fertilizer, the soil, but if rain don't fall, if they don't get water, right, it's gonna be a problem on this planet. The last time I checked, right? So water is a very important source on this planet because this planet is actually 70%, I think they say, liquid or water, versus what people are living on, the landmass, right? Now I know I stray from music and whatever, because I like to teach when I'm talking. Now it's the same thing when it comes to music. Artists, right? Just like religious people, your pastor, your people that's influential, right? And don't just think as your pastor. Think as your favorite movie star, or your favorite actor, your favorite comedian, um, your favorite social media influencer, your favorite author of a book if you read a lot, your favorite teacher, right? Your favorite, people have favorites, right? Who they like more and who they don't like more, right? That's a natural thing to me, all right? But you know, it is what it is. When it comes to music and people are influential, right? It's gonna come to this point. So no, Vybz Kartel being the very, and this is what dancehall fans is gonna say. Vybz Kartel is the most influential artist when it comes to dancehall. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? It's like dancehall viral media. What are you talking about? Vybz Kartel is the most influential dancehall artist. He could influence people to bleach out themselves, tattoo them skin, you know, be bad man, you know, do certain things to women, you know, um, you know, etc., 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 right? But when you talk about other artists, it's like they don't have that, you know, that, hard to say, you know, they don't have the fan base or the representation or, you know, how people would defend Vybz Cartel. So I'm saying to myself, okay, so if he's that influential and he have all this influence and he can make people do these things what we're seeing right now, right? And you know what? It's surprising to me, right? Preachy Dan was the only one, right? That, because Preachy Dan is basically a female, but they say she's a male and a female, like she's a hermaphrodite, for lack of better words, or she was born with both. Um, I don't want to use that word, right? But both organs, you know, that they can go both ways, right? Either they like men or they like women. That's fine. That's the same thing we see now with genetics, with men and men, right? Some men are attracted to men. Some men are attracted to females. Some men are attracted to females and men. Some females are attracted to females and men, right? So I'm not here to question no one's personal preference, especially when it comes to their bedroom activity. That have nothing to do with me, right? But my thing is when you put certain things out there on social media, right? Like let's say if Movado or Alkaline or, well, we can't use Buju Bantam because when he did the wine on the stage, some people was questioning that. When certain artists do certain things, people question it. But when you see, when it's about Vybz Cartel, it's like, oh, he have a pass, you know. And this is Vybz Cartel just pushing the envelope again. And, you know, on top of that, to put the cherry on the cake, he's rich, you know, multimillionaire. Um, I can't say platinum selling artist. The other titles they would like to attribute to Vybz Cartel, but you know the guys are fine, so they go to work, right? So I'm over here and I'm saying, wow, you know. So why when Vybz Cartel do certain things, if he's that influential, right, and can cause this effect on the culture, when he do some shaky movements like this, right, very shaky, questionable at least, right? Um, but okay. Oh, because it's Vybz Cartel. Oh, oh, okay. I get it. See, this is why to me, religions reign superior because it's a mindset, it's a belief. What they're doing right now, without I can't say what is a good thing or a bad thing because you know I peep game early, right? And I saw, well, you know, if you think outside the box, everyone is not gonna like you, but people are gonna be, you know, they're gonna be in tune, right? Or in the algorithm. Right now, I'm not in the algorithm on YouTube, and I'm sure YouTube ain't they ain't gonna try to put me in the algorithm like that, cause I'll be dropping gems on y'all, right? But what I'm saying is, when you in tune, right? You're not gonna stand. You're not gonna go for certain things, you know. But there's a program, There's a system, right? And the last time I checked, anyone who try to go against that system because it's already in place, you better make sure you have a better system in place to go against them, because you know it's gonna be a problem. It's gonna be a problem. And the only artist, and right now we see like Drake. I see Kendrick Lamar. I'm not sure, but everyone is trying to go independent right now. I don't know if Michael Jackson or they studying from the Prince, the Lauryn Hill, the Barry White, the people who was vocal out here talking about the music industry, and now you put in so much, but you get you know it's like you do so much, but you get the less results. But your work speaks for itself, because you can see, you know, it's just like if you're, like I said, anyone with influence. Remember, they always tell us as kids, with great responsibility, with great celebrity or fame or notoriety, or being in a position of, right, it comes with a great responsibility. See, so you could use your fame, your notoriety, your celebrity, you know your fame, your you know to do certain things. But you remember, every action have a opposite and equal reaction. And it doesn't matter whether you're poor or you're rich, because I've seen poor people become rich, and I've seen rich people became poor, just like I've seen the opposite of things, right? So I'm not here to judge, you know because nature work in a way sometimes you question it. And if you're not asking questions, then that's what they taught us, not to ask questions, not to question things. And that was my first problem. Because to know is to ask questions. All what I know you're saying is facts if I don't poke all or question it. This is why we can have dialogue or conversation. I would like to think, you know. But when you address it from a different aspect, people look at you as weak. They look at you as this. They look at you as that, because of their mindset. And intelligence have nothing to do with survival. We used to survive because we had to go through that mindset. But now, we live in an era or an age where everything is at our fingertip. And if you don't teach or learn yourself, and you're still looking for a teacher or a professor or a spiritual leader or an advisor, whatever the case may be, right? It's like you're lost. Because the last time I checked, they said go to the Heavenly Father or the Source or the Creator, for lack of better words, right? Even though that's still question, I question that, because I'm like, okay, because if my mom, right, I grew up in a family where my father, he was there, but he really wasn't there. So my mom brought us up, right? Meaning we raised by our mom, not our dad, right? Not to say, well, kids are not raised by the opposite parents, but my experience was just totally different, right? No, like I said, my dad was there financially. He was there, you know, um, like kind of emotion, because conversation I had with my dad growing up, you know, it's like he wasn't there, but we still had conversations, whatever, 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 you know. But he always taught me, that, there's a reason for certain things. Like I said, every action have a equal and opposite reaction, right? Now I have brothers and sisters outside of just my mom's, because my dad, he went outside and had kids also, right? And all these things. But I know my brothers and sisters, them, you know, we communicate, like, it's kind of like we're close. We're close, but we're not that close, but we're close because of family, right? I'm saying this to say, look, when you have a certain influence celebrity, right? It tells, and it's just like what you use it for, you know. Because I don't understand the justification of people defending certain thing, because if it was someone else, they wouldn't have that same energy with the whole Vybz Kartel thing right now. Because it's like, why would y'all defend Vybz Kartel doing this at this age, right? But if it was any other artist, trust me, y'all would have crucified them. And I saw this and I hear it. Because y'all keep bringing up or referencing different artists because your artist did something that is very folly right now at the age he is, having the influence, being behind bars. And then that's the next questionable thing. He just came from behind bars, and there's a stigma from being behind bars or being, in prison for all of them years. Right? Now, if you're not a really stand-up dude, if you don't know, there's a large LGBTQ, or the Skittle gang behind bars, right? And it was a mindset, because it was like, we have to go back to slavery. People wanted to own people and have them on plantation, and like, you was just like how you could go buy a house, or could go buy a house or a car or a bicycle or whatever legally. It's just like you could go buy a slave, one of us, a dark skin or a Negroid person, right? Back in certain days. And they became your property. So you could do, you know, if you buy a car, you could skate on the toll. You could do whatever you want to do. You want to do with it, because it's now your property. You pay for it, right? This is why prostitution, violence, certain things, it always sells, because you gotta pay for it. Or you either go join the army or the police force, and do something legally, right? That's in their system, right? That if you do it, you might get off. Still a 50-50, because they still have laws within certain things, because without laws, they know that, right? Without rules, without laws, they know that, but they try to bend it. They try to bend the rules, bend the laws, and tell us, well, you know, we could go half and half and 50-50, and you know what I'm saying? And one of these things, right? You know, but in anything I do, I know I always put my 100% or put my all into it, because I want to know, right? I want to know the truth. I want to, I'm just that kind of person. I'm not going to go 50-50 with you. I'm just going to play my part, right? And if that's my responsibility, I'm going to try to own up to it. It's just like standing on your word. When I was growing up, that was a big thing. You either stand on your word, or nigga, you don't have no nuts, right? And the only person I see that really have some nuts right now, and it's kind of surprising to me, right? Because that person, they would say it's a lesbian, or a person that was born with both, organs, sexual organs, right? She's a hermaphrodite, she's a this, she's a that, and that's Preachy Dan, right? But Preachy Dan is a Vybz Kartel fan. She didn't even blaze the fire the way, whatever, but she still born of Vybz Kartel and show himself, well, hey, you know what I mean? So I'm looking at Preachy Dan like, she's more man than some of these men out here. You know what I'm saying? Because they afraid to say what Preachy Dan is going to say. You know what I mean? As a woman slash trying to be. Well, I can't even say she's trying to be because I'm not in control of that. Maybe that's her, you know, that's how God created her. You know, who am I to question it? I know what I like and I know what I don't like. You know what I mean? I wouldn't date a person like Preacher that or be in a relationship with her or anything like that. But she's an influencer out here, right? And people talk the most about Preacher than, right? But she's budded the fire, and I'm listening to her, and I'm like, yeah, man, because how some man, right? Them not blaze the fire same way, you know what I mean? And I don't know how you guys look at Preacher Dan, but I look at her as a female first, even though you know, she have this energy like a male energy, so it could be a female trapped in a or a male trapped in a female body, or what they call they go into all of these things, whatever, right? I don't know. I'm just saying. All I know, I can speak for me. You know what I'm saying? And I won't go so far, being at Vybz Kartel age, right? Probably when I was younger, probably did some things because I didn't know better. You know what I mean? But when you get older, they say with age comes wisdom, right? So as you get older, you're supposed to, know better. You know better, you do better. It's like how is dancehall, or if they say Vice Cartel the most influential person, he's this whatever. How is dancehall kind of like going backwards instead of forward? You know what I mean? Why is he gyrating and going on social media like this? And if it was anyone else, it would be a different conversation. So we can't beat Vibes Cartel because he's the cult, right? And nothing wrong with cult, because cult mean culture. But are we trying to cultivate this behavior? I mean, as Vibes Cartel being the age he is right now, we trying to cultivate this behavior, and we see other people now are running with it, and well, not just other people, but other males, not females, other males running with this. With it, what is this? What is this telling our sons, our male, the alphas, them, in our society, that this is what you have to do, either to become famous or rich, or having a certain celebrity, being an artist or a movie star or whatever the case may be. Is this the standard? So I would never agree with this, you know. And whether it was Vibes Cartel or one of my, favorites, they would get the same fire. It's just a fire that's gonna have to keep blazing right now, from what I see. And until then, it is what it is. And I'm still saying, when it comes to us men, we have this thing like it's a man's world, right? So what happened to the women? Because the last time I checked, I came from a female. My father impregnated her, but my mom carried me 9 months, like what Sister Kalanji said. And she was the nurturing one, right? Not to say my father wasn't, you know, but wait, wait, like, really? Do we hate women that much? That we gonna forbid them or forget about them? Or when we having conversation, it's like we always trying to, down our women? The last time I checked, no, sir. Mm-mm. The last time I checked, why may I tell you? Me can't swear for my life. I never play for no other side. Because a women are about TV. Well, why am I saying are about TV? I'm over here on Dancehall. But a woman alone will give you love. See? Yeah.
Can't tell me no know what you expect from me in a party. Me no know, me no, me can't get up and defend you, so dog. You shame me, people. You would be everybody have your name in their mouth. Dog, you rich. You make us feel one certain way from we are youth, dog. And you put certain meditation in our mind and we are praying militant from we are youth, dog. Teacher me can't defend it. Teacher, you're lumps, dog. Dog, you're lumps. You're done. You're lumps, dog. Dog, you're lumps, parent. You're lumps, parent. You tell you say you're lumps, dog. You're lumps. You tell you, parent. You don't look good, dog. You don't look good. Him and they don't know like we already, dog. Him and they don't have we name in the mouth. Gaza nation, this Gaza nation. And like this, you got to, dog. What you left we to do, dog? Yeah, you're rich. What I expect you to do that, dog? All your neighbor show, bro. Teacher, what you show neighbor for party? I don't know what you do now. You might never call up a name. Big pussy foot and make up feel nice. I'm glad I'm alone, me see a tall boy in a like a male battery rider them that day. I'm alone, me see him invested in your brief activity, dog. Like a real batty boy, killing. I'm here tell you, see, you can't make big mouth boy like them, they call up your name, dog. It laps out. You look bad, you. How we are showing navel, bro? Navel, dog. Versace. Brief and red. Dog, we are bad man, youth. Me understand, say you reform, but daddy. Barry, what you live for do, dog? Man, you do that for see them in the private, dog. Remember, say the man live the money up. Bumbo club. Dog, the man them the money up, dog. Teacher, man them the money up. Teach, yo big yard. Why me say big yard? No, fuck nobody. Can't put on here with property. From Kingston to Bogatti. Yo say the Bogatti. Come on, say, leave me now. So you party. I still playing a dance and a big gunshot in that cupboard. They pull up. Kick a boy in my mouth. No. A boy look too shake you orange cross him face. And you do that, you make a face. What? Kiss my ass, lad. Teacher, you laps. You lapsing. Me bum club hurt. Kill me. Me pussy clad kill it. Kill you make big pussy foot and look on foot and foot more lean. Like someone double boxing me in blood clad sleep. Remember say foot and blood clad front teeth.
God know me sorry me can't read it dark. I would have big up someone, you know. I tell you, someone name spell fuck up youth and look fuck up. And even gonna try pronounce it. So just big up everybody, isn't it? Yeah.